This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast
with Tony Bruschi.
There's not a lot of things that we as humans can easily pull off 133 times in a row. But for one individual, they did. They stabbed a woman, a 21-year-old with intellectual disabilities, 133 times. And here's the fun part of this. The family of that woman who was murdered, they're a little mad, more like outraged, because the alleged killer of this intellectually disabled woman has been released on bond. This is insane. James Salerno is his name, one of the accused killers. He posted a $250,000 bond and was released from jail. Here's the full story. A family of Mary Collins, a 21-year-old intellectually disabled woman who was brutally murdered and found hidden inside a mattress, is expressing their deep outrage after one of the alleged killers, James Salerno, was allowed to post bond. The crime took place April 4th of 2020 when Collins was discovered stabbed 133 times in an apartment in Charlotte. Now, 4 individuals have been charged in connection with her murder. Collins, who suffered from 22q deletion syndrome.
Deletion syndrome.
What is that?
Well, it is all, and I looked it up.
Oh, here we go.
And it's also known as DeGeorge syndrome, and it causes, it's a chromosome thing, kind of like with Down syndrome.
Okay.
But I think they're much more able to, Down syndrome, sometimes the level of ability can vary, but I think they have a higher level of intellect.
Okay.
But,
from what I'm reading here, it's a genetic disorder, has the mental capacity roughly equivalent to that of a 15-year-old, according to her family. During a poignant bond hearing in January, Collins' grandmother, Mia Alderman, tearfully addressed the court, describing the heinous act as one of the most depraved cases in the history of Charlotte. Recent records from Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office indicate that James Salerno, 22, was able to secure his release from jail by posting the $250,000 bond. Salerno was facing charges of murder, kidnapping, and failure to report or conceal a death. Salerno, along with Lavi Pham, 23, and Kelly Larvey, 24, was apprehended the day after Collins' lifeless body was discovered. Prosecutors assert that Pham and Lavery, individuals known to Collins and her friends, enticed her to their apartment with the intention of seeking retribution for her refusal to engage in simultaneous sexual encounters. Initially denied bond, Salerno had been held in custody for over 3 years before being granted release. In contrast, Lavery pled guilty to her involvement in the crime and is currently serving a minimum prison sentence of 25 to 32 years. Pham remains incarcerated and is awaiting trial. Salerno and Pham had pled not guilty to the charges against them. It's believed that Salerno is now residing with his parents, as indicated by his defense attorney's assurance during the bond hearing. The defense team contends that no forensic evidence links Salerno to the murder and maintains that he lacked any motive to harm Collins. Prosecutors presented compelling evidence, including Salerno's cell phone records, which placed him at the scene of the crime both during and after the time of the murder. Additionally, law enforcement authorities allege that the Notes app on Salerno's phone contained a list of cleaning products purportedly used at the crime scene. Mia Alderman has voiced her concerns about the accused being released without appropriate safeguards in place. In a separate development, America Deal, 18, was charged with accessory after the fact and concealing a death. Deal, who had provided statements against Salerno, was released on bond in September of 2021. The state now fears for Deal's safety. Alderman strongly criticized the lack of protective measures afforded to her family and Deal, emphasizing the brutality of Collins' murder and the immense suffering endured by those who loved her. The family's anguish has been amplified by the release of an alleged killer, highlighting concerns for public safety and the need to ensure justice is served in this case. Victim's mother, Cassie Canfora, said, "It's creating a lot of conflicting feelings within me." Canfora explained, "It's extremely painful, and I have no control over the entire process, which is the most difficult part. Everything feels as though what they've done to my daughter doesn't matter to them.
That breaks my heart.
How anyone, I mean, this is our system, gets out on bond or anything when you're facing murder charges, I don't really understand. It's like it doesn't get a whole lot worse than that in terms of being charged with something. Why are we making exceptions to that where someone can just get out with and bond? That doesn't mean he paid the full $250, right? That means
no, like 10% usually, isn't it?
Yeah, which is doable in a lot of cases.
Well, probably the parents, got a second mortgage on their house or something. Mm-hmm. But then you also hear these stories about these parents who do make some really bad decisions when it comes to their kids and kind of help them cover up things. You've heard about those bad parents. Are these trustworthy parents? Are they going to help him escape to another country and flee? And I don't know. I would feel the same way if I was this family and that other girl who testified. Mm-hmm. I would feel threatened. Like if they did that to her, how safe are these people? And how much does it really matter? And how does he get to be out? Like, why was he in there for a few years and then able to bond out? That makes no sense to me.
It's enraging. I can only imagine being the family of that woman and seeing just how they're not being protected, how justice is not being served here in this case.
But 133 stab wounds. I can't even wrap my brain around that. Just the amount of time it would take to stab someone 133 times. Like, that's a lot.
Was it all done by one person, I wonder? Or was it, there was a couple people involved here. Did they all?
It's more than one.
Did they all take turns stabbing her? I mean, it's.
And it might have been done at the same time.
Yeah.
But why is he keeping notes on cleaning products?
Well, it obviously, even if he didn't. I got to run to the store. I need to pick up some bleach. He obviously knew about it.
Why would you do that? And I think, too, that the cleaning products are very specific. Mm-hmm. So it's not like bleach and Lysol or whatever. I don't know what he picked up. Yeah. But I think there was like some scented things that he purchased to help disguise the scent that was very specific. So probably whatever's in his phone is definitely ties him to it.
I wonder how long or what their plan was with her being inside of a mattress. Were they thinking, oh, this will hide the body good? Or were they then going to get rid of the mattress with her in it so it looked
that would be my guess.
Not suspicious leaving a building? How do you even?
And it makes me think too, there was like drugs involved.
Yeah.
These people were really high. I don't know that. It just makes me think that.
How do you get someone in a mattress?
I don't know.
Like I get like a sleep number you could because it's filled with air. But other than that, do you carve out like parts of the inside of the thing and get?
And I think that they wrapped her in plastic.
Okay.
And then maybe the idea was we can fit her in this mattress and then we'll dump the mattress and it would disguise her.
And no one would be the wiser. I don't know.
My mind doesn't work like that. So I'm not really sure that thought process, which is also goes back to were drugs involved?
I'd like to know, because that sometimes answers the question right away of what were they thinking? Like, were drugs involved? It to me, sometimes it's worse when it's like drugs were not involved. It's like, oh, this is how they act. Like this without any sort of influence. Absolutely horrible story.
This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast.
The Hidden Killers Podcast.
With Tony Bruschi.
Hey, if you want to weigh in on anything that we talk about here, you can do so. We got a phone number for that. You can call 24/7. It's 888-5-KILLER. 888-554-5537. We would love to hear your feedback on any of these stories. My name's Tony Bruschi. You can follow me on Twitter at TonyBPod. Stay with us.